The kids are all right. Well, are they? I don't know. We are going to find out because we are with the lovely ladies of the Sundance film Summering. That is right. It is a new coming of age, kind of like I thought it was going to be like a Now and Then, but a little bit darker, almost like a young woman version of a Stand By Me. So without further ado, Miss Lake Bell, Miss Sarah Cooper. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Cancel Me Baby. I'm Taylor Ferber. I'm excited.
Are we
Hey,
getting
Taylor.
canceled on this show? What's the
Well, that's the point, is to just go for it. Are you ready for the no canceled zone?
I mean,
I'm not ready.
Oh,
Sarah is very concerned.
I'm scared. No.
like I feel like you have this like with the tats that it's like it's already a vibe. So Sarah, in no time, here we go. Let's dive right in. So first of all, okay, this film is a little bit darker. Again, I was expecting a Now and Then. We deal with heavy themes, but isn't that adolescents today? Think about what these kids are dealing with, right? We have things that we didn't deal with. Okay, violence. We have these unattainable IG beauty standards, right? In schools. Okay, we have all of the clash of gender ideology, all of this. I want kids. I always say, I empathize so much because they have to deal with so much heavy things we didn't. Now, what concerns you ladies? Like, I know you have young kids. What concerns you most that they have to deal with right now?
I mean, here's what I'll say just to kind of address what you just said, which is I think it's not that there's even been the main issue is exposure, right? It's like we just have so much access. These young kids have so much access to hearing about the atrocities of what are going on in the world and at all here on our own turf. But there were terrible injustices occurring all the time through our childhood. We just didn't have Instagram and in Twitter and all these ways to find out about them. But I think that, humans are humans, right? Like I think that it's just about how we're ingesting and how we're how unfortunate we are to be this informed and yet fortunate so that we can address injustices. So it's like this weird double-edged sword. But our children, I think right now, at least my children, I just see like an uptick in, I mean, I definitely had anxiety as a kid, but my children are just flooded with anxiety. And the film actually kind of Summering has tons of notes of this fear and anxiety within the thematics of the film, right? So it's like it's this symbol and this kind of life raft that you're following in the narrative of their really what they're sitting on is the fear and anxiety of taking on a new chapter in their life, and that is just relatable on every level for young folks right now. And us.
Yes. Sarah, how about you?
My friend has a saying. She's like, the mind is a scary place. Don't go there alone. So I feel like that's, I felt anxiety just with you rattling off what kids have to deal with. Like just hearing everything is just like, oh my God. But the movie it kind of harkens back to a simpler time when kids could just go out and play in the street. And have these communal experiences. Everyone is on their phone. They're having their own experience. There's like between 10 kids, there's 10 different experiences. And so how can we feel connected when everybody's in their own little world? We're not listening to the same songs. We're not watching the same shows. That's why I'm so excited that this is going to be in theaters so people can actually experience this with their families, with their friends, and have that experience, because I feel like that's kind of the message of the film. There's anxiety, there's all of these things we're dealing with, and the answer to that is community and connection and knowing that you're not alone and that we're all kind of going through this together.
So with that being said, let's pivot a little bit to one of my favorite topics, none other than womanhood. So I brought up Now and Then earlier, and Now and Then is so that kind of same like innocence of summer and four girlfriends in their preteen years, right? And Now and Then, though, they're talking about stuffing their bras with like Jello and having the sex talk with their moms, right? And there's a line, like what a contrast. I think it shows what we're talking about, a contrast of the climate that we're in now, how it's just heavier and not quite the same. There's a line though in this movie that kind of made me laugh. And now I'm not knocking it. I'm just asking you genuinely. The girls are talking about how one of them has to go to a private school and wear a skirt. And she is bummed. She's like, it is so patriarchal. I just like shorts. And at first it made me laugh because I'm like, what preteen is like describing things as patriarchal? Like maybe that's just the world we're in, right? But I feel like this is a common theme. Like, why can't it be both? Why can't it be like you're in a skirt or a dress and you're effing like powerful and also can be a tomboy? Blake, hop in.
It's Lake, but here's
Blake,
what I'll say.
yeah, I nicknamed you there that you did not ask for.
Used to it because I grew up with the name Lake, so I'm very used to it. So here's what I'll say about that. The kids at this age, okay, in this younger generation, they are being, as you said, served so much information and such large concepts, whether it comes to gender, race, and education. They're digesting so much and doing their very best to process. And so I think it's very believable that a little girl would say that, because I have a little girl and a little boy, and my daughter, has a little otter stuffy. And I was like, oh, he's so cute. And she said, no, it's a they. And so she's 7. Okay. And she told me that the otter stuffy that she has is they and identifies as they, but he, they. And so she's telling me and teaching me through the way that she's processing, because in her school and the way that she's taking in the world, she's, I don't know, she's like totally comfortable to be wrong, totally comfortable to say the wrong thing and get it right and figure it out. And so she's going to try words like patriarchal. She's going to try words like.
She is?
Sure.
Does she say that? I was going to ask you with your 7-year-old, yes, how she sees it.
She has an opinion. Okay. The thing is, the difference is that opinions of young minds are being heard in a different way, and they're being given different words to play around with. In our youth, perhaps we were kind of tossing around different words and concepts. And the idea of, my daughter is totally like, I don't want to wear a goddamn skirt. And sometimes if I want to wear a skirt, I'll wear a skirt.
Yes.
Like,
I was going to ask if she experiments, like, is it like a princess over here? But then it's like, I'm going to be a tomboy over here, like how she experiences it.
Where she has a mullet and she wears a suit head to toe with a tie, button up, and the whole thing slicked hair back. And the next day she's like, I'm Elsa.
I love that.
I am Elsa. Hear me roar. Let it
both.
freeze. What's the song? Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah. So the idea is like, I just feel like there is something very real about kids feeling comfortable enough they're being thrown a lot of stuff, and they're going to experiment with using big words, and and big concepts, not just even big words, but big concepts.
Sarah, how about, again, it's also, what does it say about the time we're in, right? How different from when we grew up. Sarah, how about you? Like when you grew up, what you were drawn to and how you see differences now, with these young girls?
I have, I don't have kids, but I have a friend, actually it was just my stylist, and she says her sister was like, her daughter started using the word vagina. And so she called her and she was just like, did you teach her vagina? Did you? And my friend was like, no. But it's interesting how parents have this issue now where it's like, kids are learning things and they're not sure where they're getting them from. Because there's so many places they can get them from. And so it's like tracing that information. Whereas like when I was a kid, I don't know. I read a lot of, Sweet Valley Twins and the Babysitters Club, and that was all I was doing.
And Sarah, you were still a boss bitch, I am sure.
I was a straight
case in point.
I was a teacher's pet. No one liked me.
She's like, actually, I was an overachiever. Let's not get it twisted.
Actually, I wore a shirt that said, it was a Bart Simpson shirt that said, I hate overachievers or something like that. And they made me turn it inside out because they thought it would affect the kids and make them less motivated. So,
well, he on people.
Yeah. What?
Bart had that kind of effect on people. I mean, it's like you see that and you go, that's how I'm going to live my life.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. They couldn't take the heat. Now, going off of this, I am very passionate about the idea of women having power in both femininity and beauty and intelligence.
I'm absolutely against it.
I know, what a controversial take, right?
We tried.
And
Let's move on. It didn't work. It didn't work. So
what can you do? Yes. So I actually spearheaded a Playboy feature about this where myself and 5 other journalists pose and we wrote essays, very, powerful essays on free expression. What else encapsulates this but Pam and Tommy, which I covered extensively on my show for this very reason. And congratulations on the Emmy noms. But it was so refreshing. And it's what we're talking about, right? Seeing somebody like her, a sex icon, gorgeous, beautiful, feminine, but also resilient, a survivor, strong, not a victim. However, it's like I was saying earlier, I often feel like the narrative is it's one or the other. It's beauty or intelligence. Do you feel that we have to box one or the other away?
I do not think sexuality and femininity negates intelligence or strength. I think that they're not mutually exclusive. I remember very personally connected to the Pam and Tommy story, particularly Pamela. In the sense that I had felt what it was like to have the injustice of private property and image stolen and then broadcasted, and in the fappening and all that shit. So I think that, having, even in the year that I wrote and directed my first film, right? And I'm at Sundance and I'm naked on the cover of a magazine. It's like, I got a lot of flack for that. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about why. Because I would agree, gosh, maybe I wouldn't do that necessarily now. I'm like, do I really need to be naked? Go ahead, put some clothes on,
But also, why not? Isn't there power in that too? Where you're like,
there is, but I found, and this is how I feel about it, it's totally personal preference. It's whether you're comfortable with it and you get to make that choice. So even I get to change my mind. I could say, you know what, at this point in my life, I'm totally fine being on the cover of a magazine naked because I kind of feel it right now. And I'm totally comfortable writing and directing and starring in a movie.
Yes.
Now, in the same breath, if I decide that at this juncture, I don't feel like being on a cover of a magazine naked, goddamn choice, I'm like, give me some YSL and we'll make it hot. You know what I'm saying? But my choice. So I agree with you in that they're not mutually exclusive. I think that Pamela, in her story and the way we wanted to kind of express it is that she is a powerful, beautiful, strong woman who got acutely exposed and taken advantage of a system that was just broken. I mean, just at the heat and the height of exploitation. It was like ripe and the tipping point of when all of that technology just unfurled in a way that kind of ruined their life, and their relationship, certainly. I mean, it was just like a huge of privacy and illegal. It's just like a crime story,
Right. These are my last thoughts because I have to wrap, but I just feel like, and maybe it ties into the patriarchal line earlier, as women navigate, especially in this complicated world, I just feel like, to your point, they're not mutually exclusive. Sarah, I don't know how you feel about it, if you agree, but I feel like when you unleash both, it is like men's effing kryptonite because they know how powerful we are. Like they are like, oh shit, it is no holds barred out. Like it is game over. And perhaps that is what has played into maybe the structures trying to box women in certain ways with the skirts, whatever, because they know we actually, in the end, once it's all unleashed, we run shit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the thing that I've internalized sometimes too, because my thing is looking smart. Like I just have to look smart. And
I've done that.
Sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't want to expose my body too much because then that'll make me look less smart, because men have trained me that I can't be both, because they know that they see a smart woman, well, they're not attractive. And if they see attractive woman, well, they're not smart. You have to put her down somehow. So you find a way, and it's just not true. But at the same time, we've been taught it so much that it's hard to break out of that sometimes.
I say here and now we rewrite it and take control of it and do it our way, ladies. I don't think we've been canceled, but I will say this kicked major ass. So thank you both. What a blast.
Right. I don't think there's any cancellations.
What's that?
Right
What's
now,
that, Lee?
I love the patriarchy. No.
I know. It's like they description, not canceled.
Not canceled. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.